Welcome, everybody. Calling the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. This is our regular meeting, August 17, 2021. Can please everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders and military members. Thank you. Monica, could we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Present.
Councilmember Moran?
Present.
Councilmember Kane?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia? Mayor Aguilar?
Present.
For the record, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia is not in attendance, but his absence is excused.
Thank you, Monica. In regards to closed session announcements, we will be having our closed session after our regular meeting, and then after we will be making any announcements. Council, any changes to the agenda?
Yes. Actually, there's a couple of things, and I'm not sure if we should consider them separately. But one of them, I do want to consider moving the closed session to the beginning of our meeting versus at the end. And after your consideration, I'd like to pull item number 12, 14, and number 20 from the consent agenda.
Thank you. In regards to our closed session, I believe we're waiting on our Mayor Pro Tem as well as another guest that will be joining us for our closed session. That's why it was scheduled to the end. Council.
Actually, I was going to recommend 12 be pulled as well because I have not had a chance to look at that. So I would request that we continue that to a meeting in the future as well.
What number is that?
12.
12. So if we do that, do we need to do additional advertising and?
Not at this point. If we could continue it, say, a month or so, we wouldn't have to do that yet. But we can go ahead and continue, we could re-advertise if that's the council's wish as well, and while we look at it again.
So, council okay with pulling item number 12, 14, and 20?
So is that just pulling for discussion or pulling 12? Or we can discuss that later, what to do with number 12?
We would need to pull it out, right, and make motion to continue it?
Yeah, what I would do is go ahead and approve the rest of the consent agenda, then we'll come back to 12, 14, and 20 and address each individually at that time.
Yes, and before we do that, I don't know if we should consider on item number 9, before we approve the minutes for the meeting of August 9th, if we should be able to make sure that it's on the record that we did not, or what we did or what we did not do at that meeting. It was just a presentation and not
Coming in, what was that again?
So on number 9, for the minutes, that was, the only thing that we did was, it was just we just heard the presentation.
Okay.
But that is not part of the minutes, and I just would like to have that clarified in the minutes before we approve, or maybe we should pull them and then approve them later.
What was that, Maria?
Item number 9? Yes. Well, item number 9 right now is part of the consent agenda. So maybe we can pull that and then consider it for approval at a later date.
Just continue it then, basically.
So I would suggest to pull item number 9 as well.
Okay, we'll approve the consent agenda with those items you mentioned for, you have specific questions in regards to items or clarification?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Moran, is it clarification for item number 20 as well, or are you completely wanting to remove that item?
No,
Or is it for
just
discussion?
questions and clarifications.
Okay.
But if you guys want to now pull it and keep it that way, it's up to you guys, but I would suggest we do that.
That's fine with me. You guys okay? All right, so we'll move on. We'll pull those items and talk about them separately. At this moment, we're going to go ahead and move on to our citizen comments. Section of agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by myself, should come forward. Yes.
You're not going to talk about the consent agenda?
It's because it was changes to the agenda,
Okay,
and then the citizen comments,
Got it.
and then we'll go.
I see.
Yeah. Should come forward and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes in accordance with state open meeting laws. No action will be taken by the city council this evening. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up for discussion. Citizen comments?
My name is Vilma Reynoso, and I have a question. I would like to know the timeline to hire the city manager, because you guys rushed to fire him, and now it's like taking a lot of time on hiring a city manager. I do understand that Vanessa is doing city manager interim, but I know that she is your fiscal financial chief, and the projects that are on hold because you guys fire Jose Ramirez are on hold. And the city, if those projects were so important, why you are waiting to hire? What is the timeline? And I only want the answer for Jose Moran, Juan Aguilar, and Maria Soto, because you are the three I voted for, the city lawyer and the other guy. I really, irrelevant for me. So when you guys are planning to hire the new city managers, and what is taking you so long? It's been a month, it's not been posted. I don't know if you are recruiting for somebody, but why it is taking you so long? Or is the truth what people are saying on the streets, that you are taking your time because you want to hire Officer Soria back as a city manager? And if it's so, that is kind of like a shady in the culture, pop culture things. So what is the timeline to hire? Because if Vanessa is financial chief, the money needs to be taken care of, or the little money that is left, because we are paying a lot in lawyer fees to be sitting in these meetings and all this, but that is irrelevant too. So when the new city manager is going to be hired, and how soon we could have that, and also if it's going to be like when the chief of police was hired, that it was people represented from the community and have the chance to talk with the people and everything and have input about it. So I still have 1 minute and 6 seconds, so that is what I want to know, because it's taking you so long, because I don't think it's fair for Vanessa to be taking care of 2 jobs, because now we have to pay for Jose Ramirez because he has wrongfully fired, and then she has to do his job, somebody has to do her job, and it's like too many patches, when that is not fair for nobody here in Livingston. So I got to sit here and wait for my answer of the 3 people that I voted, because I voted for you.
It's a legal question.
Yeah, it's a
I didn't ask the lawyer. I asked Juan Aguilar, Maria Soto, and Jose Moran. I voted for you, not for you, Mr. Lawyer.
Do you want the information?
I didn't vote for you. I want the answer for the people I voted.
Okay. You don't want the information, okay.
I'm waiting.
Go ahead, Jose, you want to answer that?
Mr. Mayor, you are the mayor.
Yeah, I'm referring to the council members, and then I'll say a piece myself.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Well, thank you for for being here and asking questions. Well, I'm not sure how much I can respond. The only thing I can say is that at the moment, Vanessa is acting for city manager, interim, and finance director. And I think probably there might be more information once we get to the contract, and that's about it.
Yeah, but to get into a contract for an interim is because you are planning to have her for a long period of time. I know about contract, I know about all this. That is why I'm asking the questions. Maria, you have something to add?
Just so that the public is aware, there are certain things that we can't discuss because it was.
Please, Maria, please,
Okay.
don't insult my intelligence, Maria. You know me better.
Let's have respect.
You wanna, no,
Let's have respect,
This
guys,
is
come on.
between the person I vote for. I know you and you know me long time ago, so be clear. I know what you can and cannot say, so go ahead.
Okay. So the projects that are moving forward are continuing to move forward. There haven't been as many items that you feel may be on hold. Progress is moving as it should. I have faith in Vanessa that she is doing the job in both capacities. That is why she was recommended to carry the city forward during this time. Other questions, I will let the mayor
Timeline.
address.
I talk about timeline.
I will let the mayor address that.
Okay.
Thank you. So yeah, Vanessa is the interim city manager. She has our full support, and we know that she's been doing an excellent job in regards to projects. They're going to continue on as planned, as scheduled. There hasn't been any holdup whatsoever. She comes with a lot of experience.
I ask you about the timeline. I know about Vanessa. I want to know the timeline.
As
When
this-
the new city manager is
Okay,
going
let
to
me
be.
answer. I was gonna
One
get there.
minute. When is going to be hired? When is going to be recruited? When that thing is going to be posted? It's been a month. What you are waiting for?
We're still waiting to see if the previous city manager is going to request a public hearing or not. That's one of the things holding back in regard to timeline.
Seriously? You want everybody here to know, to believe you that?
I mean, that's
He
part
was
of his-
fired, he was terminated, he can litigate 20 years in court. But you need to hire somebody and hire it soon.
Our intention.
And you know that, and your lawyer knows
Okay,
that.
let me finish answering.
Okay, go ahead.
Our intention is to continue on working with Vanessa.
For how long?
It depends. If she's doing a great, excellent job.
Until the 4 or 6 months is over for Ms. Officer Soria Combat as a city manager. Everybody knows that. And you guys are that predictable to do that? Funny.
I don't know
Funny.
where did you hear that, but thank you for your comments. And if you need any further information, you can reach out
Timeline,
to our
timeline.
attorneys. Thank
What
you.
is the timeline?
You have reached your limit now. Thank you. 3 minutes.
Yes. Is somebody next after me? Is somebody want to give me 3 minutes?
No, you can't
You want
pass
to
on.
give me 3
There's
minutes?
no
Thank
yielding
you.
of time
Yeah.
for
Yes,
public
we
comment.
can do that.
No,
Don't
you
tell me
cannot.
what I can and cannot
You
do
cannot
in
do.
these meetings, honey. I know the law too
Chief.
about meetings. He
Well,
just
that's-
gave me his 3 minutes,
If
so I'm
that's your
waiting for my
opinion, you
answers.
don't.
Come on. Say, give him your 3 minutes, because this is Brown Act. Everybody can give me their 3 minutes,
You
and I
cannot.
could stay here for a whole hour if
You
I
cannot
want to.
transfer 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Manjisra Agama. I give my 3 minutes to her.
You can't transfer the 3 minutes.
This is Brown Act.
You can't do
So,
that. You cannot do that.
As he, yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You know that better than I. You are a policeman, you know Brown Act. You can.
You know the Brown Act.
And you can do your 3 minutes.
Here's the law right here.
Yes, everybody have 3 minutes to come in, and if everybody,
everybody.
well,
That's one person
Merced
that's
County District Attorney can tell us if that is,
Right.
that is allowed or not, because if it's not allowed in Livingston, then we are in a different country.
No, we're not in a different country, but we're following the rules. Each
Yeah,
person gets 3 minutes.
3 minutes, and if they give me 3 minutes, I could continue talking. That is part of the Brown Act. If I have to bring in on the next meeting the books and show it to you, I could do it.
I don't think anywhere in the Brown Act it says that somebody else can give you 3 minutes.
Yes, it could.
They can allow you to speak further, but at
No,
this point
if
in time,
somebody
that's
says,
exercise,
give me the
not
3
to allow
minutes,
them.
I could do it.
Can you please?
I could do it. So if anybody want to continue the information, timeline to hire the new city manager, they want you to believe that they want to work with her. No, they are using Vanessa, and Vanessa knows that. And that is why they don't want to hire nobody to bring somebody that they want. I already say what I wanted to
Thank
say.
you, appreciate it.
Any other citizen comments?
Mayor, council members, Leticia Vasquez speaking. I do want to suggest something. I know that when the chief was hired, there was a panel of residents that interviewed him, and I think that that would be a great idea for the new city manager if you are going to start recruiting. I remember seeing somewhere online that you are going to start recruiting or taking applications for the city manager position, so I strongly would encourage for residents to take part in that process because, as we all know, the city manager has a huge role in our city. And I am sure Vanessa Portillo is more than capable of running our city. And if, she is an applicant for a permanent position of the city manager, that would be awesome. But I also think that because it's such a key role for our city, that residents should take part of that process, and I really like the way that it was done when our chief was hired. Thank you for your time.
Any other citizen comments?
Good evening, Council. Hilda Lopez. I hate to sound like a broken record, but the last time I was here, I spoke about the lack of information that is flowing to the community. And unfortunately, this is nothing that has changed. That was quite some time ago, weeks ago, and yet the community has received no information as far as the change in leadership to Vanessa, and I just want to say a special thank you for filling in that role as long as that may be. We appreciate your service. And as far as other things going on in our community, our police force has taken quite a beating recently, and we have heard nothing from our city leaders. There is so much going on, so many rumors, and we get no answers. All we get is this hostility, and that is aggravated, unfortunately, by our hired city attorney. This needs to stop. We need answers. We need information. This lack of information is creating such a hostile environment that we are having to have the chief intervene in our city council meetings. It's embarrassing. It really is. And I hope that sometime in the very near future, we will get answers, and specifically, a timeline, as our resident has asked. Thank you.
Any other citizen comments? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to awards presentations and proclamations. We have one, which is a recognition to our Livingston Community Health. We have a certificate here. We have a representative here. You want to go up there and just identify yourself real quick, please, for the record? Bless you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jackie Larios, and I'm representing Livingston Community Health.
Thank you. So the City Council and City staff wanted to recognize the Livingston Community Health for doing a great business in town, especially during the COVID-19 situation in the past couple of years. We want to recognize the contribution to community and all those efforts. So on behalf of myself, the City Council, and staff, we wanted to present the certificate. I know you guys just did a grand opening for your dental office once again in Hillmar, correct? So I know some of us weren't able to make it. I think you were able to make it as well. But we wanted to just recognize the Livingston Community Health and tell you thank you. And we appreciate everything you've done for the city in regards to vaccines, all the efforts to get people tested as well. So thank you so much. Okay, if you could send this that message to Leslie, and I spoke to her yesterday, but just let her know that we are very grateful. Okay. I don't know if the council wants to say any few words. Maria, you want to say anything? No. Council, anything else?
Yes, thank you for, well, if you can take this message back to everyone, this is not probably, but it is teamwork, especially when we had this pandemic and I don't think any of us experienced that ever. So to be able to battle something like this and have everything in place to be able to support our community, it's great. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, council? No? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and present you this certificate, and thank you, okay? We're going to go ahead and move on to announcements and reports. Our supervisor's not here. We're going to go ahead and move on to city announcements and reports. Vanessa, do we have any city staff presenting tonight?
Yes, Mayor. I'm going to have Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the public. Anthony Chavarria, Public Works. I don't have a formal presentation this evening or PowerPoint, but I did want to update council on a few of the projects that are going on in Public Works right now. Staff has been working with MCAG to change the locations where the bus stops. We have the bus stopping a little further up on B and Main to alleviate the issues of traffic backing up in the roundabout. So that's been completed already. We've completed the sidewalk, curb and gutter improvement at Memorial Park by Alvarez Field, which was the Measure V project. Staff will be forming a walk path connecting the sidewalk to Alvarez Field entrance to accommodate ADA accessibility here in the near future. The CDBG sewer line project is in full gear. The contractor is forecasting to have Main Street opened up by August 27th, which is next Friday. Project completion date is toward the end of December. The CMAC Alley paving project is also in full gear. The contractor started on the alleys between 7th and 8th and H and Park. Merced County Regional Waste Authority will be having a waste tire amnesty event June 5th and September 11th at the Highway 59 landfill. Again, there's a tire amnesty event that Regional Waste Authority will be having on June 5th and September 11th at the Highway 59 landfill. They're also going to host another event on July 3rd at the Las Banas Fairgrounds. This is a free event. They will accept up to 9 tires. Tires with rims are okay. They will be accepted. No tractor or semi-truck tires will be accepted. Also, engineering has finalized the design and specs for the bulb out project for the corners of D and Main Street. I should have the specs by tomorrow. That is in front of Claire's and in front of the dentist right there in the corner across from the bank. So as soon as I get that design and specs tomorrow, I'll send them out to the local contractors and request bids. That's the end of the update. Any questions?
Thank you, Anthony. Council, any questions?
Thank you, Anthony, for that report. Can you repeat those dates again for the tire amnesty, did you say June and July?
Yeah, that is June 5th
And July,
and September 11th,
September.
and that is at the Highway 59 landfill. And then they're also holding another event on July 3rd, and that's to be held at the Los Banos Fairgrounds.
So June
5th?
5th, next year?
No. Oh, yeah, next year.
Yeah, okay, in July next year. And then September 11th this year.
Yes.
Okay. You got me thinking there for a minute.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Council, any other questions? I have a question real quick. I know we talked about this in regards to concerns of the condition of the city, just overall. Have we contacted MID for the canals?
Yes.
Okay.
They completed the one on behind Livingston Health. So that one's completed, and they should be coming any day now to abate the one off of Walnut. They're having some staffing issues right now, so it's hard to get that
Awesome.
completed.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Any other?
If I may, just real quick, I'm not sure if this question would be within your department. I know that I had actually yesterday I had a resident communicate his concern with many of the sidewalks over on Sound Valley subdivision. Is that within your department or?
If there's any sidewalk
That are-
issues, they are the responsibility of the property owner, but as part of the Measure V funding that we have, we are helping the residents and addressing some of the trip hazards that are in front of the homes and sidewalk areas. So if the residents do have any trip hazards in front of their homes, I recommend or encourage them to call Public Works or City Hall and just report them. We'll go out and take a look and investigate and get it scheduled to be repaired.
Okay, so then maybe this question will be later on for Vanessa, because those sidewalks have been a concern from the builder of that subdivision, so probably it will be more a question for Vanessa, but I wasn't sure, but thank you.
Anthony, I don't know if you touched bases regarding F and Main Street, the work being done. Have you touched bases regarding?
Yeah, that the contractor should be opening up Main. He's forecasting to open up Main for through traffic flow by the end of next week.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. Thank you, sir, appreciate it. Any other staff?
For Recreation Department.
Hello, everyone. I just have a few things that I have been catching up on since my return. And I, even probably at the next meeting, will even have hopefully some things written out or have them in your box just to keep you apprised as to what's going on with the rec department. So our soccer, we wound up finding all of our coaches for soccer. Yay. So every kid has a coach. So the rec commission is hosting a taco night at the soccer opening ceremonies, which is August the 27th, and we'll be selling tacos from 6 to 7 before it starts for $2 each. We're looking to buy some nets and corner flags, and if we sell all our tacos, we will have just enough money to purchase those items. The next event that is coming up is our rec commission is also hosting our annual craft beer tasting, and we will be doing that alongside the LHS All Alumni class reunion on September 25th from 4 to 7. Some of you were sponsors last year, and we'd like to invite you to become a sponsor again. Tickets are $25 in advance and $30 at the door. Lastly, the Centennial, I haven't even dug into that yet, but I can tell you that our Chronicle, as we speak, is being digitized, and we're shooting, or hoping, I should say, for October, that we will be able to get it up so the community can start accessing, back from as early as 1910 on items that are in our Chronicle. So the last item that I have is actually for direction. I was told that, that one of our council members was asking to name the parking lot at the back of the Max Foster Sports Complex. And I just wanted to educate the council just a little bit in that that property is granted out. It is no longer low income. If we hope, we either have to save the money to have it made into whatever it is that we're going to make it into, or we're going to have it funded by a private foundation or a private donor. So normally the way you go about naming things is that if somebody donates $3, $4, $5 million, then you name that area after them. I do believe, and this is my opinion, is that if we name this ahead of time, it might not be good for us, in that if we have somebody that wants their name out there in their funds, I mean, we're just kind of putting the cart before the horse. So in saying that, I know that they had talked about me doing another survey as we are that we've already done, that I'm going to be presenting tonight, but I need some direction. I mean, if we're going to do a survey, usually you have items that are names that you want to be served, ask the people's opinion about. So I do need, and you want it by the September 7th meeting. So I just need a little more direction on how I go about.
I think the council member that suggested that's not here at this moment, so we could probably tell them to reach out to you and have a discussion with you maybe, Vanessa, or, just touch bases with Vanessa about it and kind of get a better, like you said, just inform them about what's the process and all that good stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Any questions?
Any questions, council?
No
Nope.
questions?
Well, I don't want to break the habit of asking questions. Actually, I do want to say thank you for, and welcome back. I mean, to be honest with you, I saw you there, but I did not realize it was you. I mean, so welcome back. And I do want to thank all of the residents that have stepped up. I know that I've been posting that we need support for the fundraiser, and I did get a few messages, and I said, just please reach out to Tony or Jackie and go and take them the money, and so thank you to all of the Livingston residents that have been always very supportive of everything that you guys have done. Thank you.
Somebody stepped forward today and bought all the meat for our taco night.
Wow.
So I was just so happy.
That's
about
great.
that.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions? I have a quick question. Welcome back, Jackie. I'm glad to see you here, and hope everything for the best, okay? I have a question, though, specific to sponsorship, like if they want to sponsor the beer tasting stuff, just reach out to the recreation department?
Any of the department, the commissioners all have tickets. A sponsorship is $80, and it actually also gives you a ticket into the event.
Is there a deadline to buy those sponsorship tickets?
I want to say the 7th of September, so that we can get their names on the banner.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Any other staff? Vanessa?
No, they're staff reporting.
Okay, thank you so much. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and move on to city manager announcements and reports.
Yes, Mayor, council members, I just wanted to share that August 20th and September 3rd and the 17th, the mortgage assistance and utility assistance program is going to be here. This is a contract service through Self-Help Enterprises, and they will be across the street from the City Council chambers at the park, helping residents walk them through the applications and how to reach that assistance for mortgage and utilities. And that's all.
Excellent, thank you. Council, any questions?
Yes, well, actually, thank you for mentioning that. I know that I was there last time 2 weeks ago, and so they have a plan to be here every 2 weeks. At that time, I believe there was only 4 people or 4 families, or 4 applicants that showed up. And so it's coming up this Friday. I know that I've been getting some more calls about it, and I hope more residents take advantage of this opportunity to help you with your mortgage, with your utility bills. And then Vanessa, maybe you can expand on this. Just residents, be aware that all of you that are late on your water bills, I think by the end of this month or next month, then those delinquent accounts, what's going to happen to them?
We will need council direction on stepping up or like get direction to our staff if we are going to start doing the shut-up for past due or delinquent accounts. We don't have that direction just yet, but we do encourage all of our residents that have a past due balance to reach out. There is help, or reach out to the city for making a payment plan.
Yes, so my point is that please take advantage of these programs. They're there to support you. They're there to help you and support you pay your mortgage, your rent, and your utility bills. So it will be this Friday from 2 to 7 p.m. And I would do my best to be there and assist in any way I can, and just encouraging people to show up. Vanessa, so I have the other question that I was asking Anthony, but I wasn't sure if it was for him or for you. And maybe you're aware of it. In the Assam Valley subdivision, throughout the completion of a lot of the homes there were a lot of sidewalks that were damaged by the builder. The builder never came back to fix them. Can you give, or actually, I want you to give the residents, or I want us to give the residents an update, because it just seems like it's been like really long time. Mm-hmm. And the last I heard was that we were moving forward with legally against the builder. Do you know anything about it? And what update can we provide to residents?
Thank you. I do not have an update in regards to having the city be the intermediate for the resident or the homeowner and the builder. Maybe our city attorney may provide us with any other, but so far the city stance is that any fixes to the property, it has to be dealt by the property owner.
Okay, so, and
Those are private civil matters at the
well, just to give you guys a little bit of background, the city still holds the bond to it. So anything that was not repaired, we still hold the bond. We have not released it. So that is why I'm asking. So the builder's supposed to come back and fix anything that was damaged before the city releases the bond. So maybe look into that and see where we're at. So, but we need to provide information to the residents.
We'll look into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a matter of timing as to whether we have the bond or it's a private civil matter.
Thank you. Any other questions for Vanessa?
I just want to quickly ask, I know that Councilmember Moran had shared that there was maybe about 4 people that participated in the utilities. And I don't know how appropriate that would be if we actually reached out to the ones that need the help, if we contact them, if they were contacted through the department with the flyer or saying, get down here on these days, because the help is here, we want you to take advantage, not wait for them to come to you, but actually go to them, because apparently this has been going on for over a year, these services, almost a,
Absolutely. The list with residents with past due balances has been made available, and self-help has made attempts to, and we'll check with them to ensure that they're doing that outreach as well.
Thank you. And that was kind of my, that was going to be my question. Also, I know that I've been here when they're here at the chambers, and there's, you know, only a few people show up and apply or seek the service. So my question was, what kind of outreach is self-help actually doing in regards to reaching out to people that need the help, or door-to-door, social media, what kind of outreach they're doing? So if we could follow up on that, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Any other questions for Vanessa, guys? No? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to city council members' announcements and reports. Councilmember King?
I got nothing to report.
Councilmember Zamoran?
Yes, I do have a short list this time. So on July 28th, I did participate in a solid waste and recycling roundtable that was facilitated by the California League of Cities. It was through Zoom. And many cities have participated from throughout the state, and primarily in dealing and preparing ourselves for the upcoming state requirements. I would recommend more members of the council and city staff to try and participate, to be able to, because they're sharing a lot of good information as well. That would help us as a city also prepare for the mandates that we will need to, as a city, to comply with by next year. So, and this is in regards to the solid waste and recycling. And then also on August the 3rd, National Night Out. I just want to give a shout out to Chief Marco and the police department for facilitating this event. I was planning to provide some DJ music. I was really excited, but I was not able to participate due to a family emergency. But I heard good responses from people that attended. And on August 12th, I had a meeting with Senator Caballero. Among one of the items that was on the agenda in my meeting with Senator Caballero was how can we as a community support one of her current bills that is in progress, to be able to have the state support local communities with digital infrastructure, especially in the rural communities where we lack a lot of the digital infrastructure, especially now with kids having to be online a lot and having to go through a lot of problems. So not only we as representatives of the city, but also local leaders can send in letters of support to the Senate to make sure that it goes through the different committees, so that it goes through and it's approved, and then local communities like ourselves get funded to be able to provide that infrastructure that we so much need. And other items that I will follow up on and provide additional information at future meetings. Also, and I did forget to mention, but also to the chief. So once again, yesterday, as I was walking my dogs, another resident approached me with concerns in regards to the big trucks in the city, not only parked in their driveways, in people's driveways, but their main concern that I had not thought about was not only the possible damage to the city's sidewalks, but also the possible damage to the sewage infrastructure that we have that might eventually cause damage in the future because of, obviously, they're heavy vehicles and some of our streets are not built for that, okay? So, and I know that I've been touching bases with the chief and, but I just wanted to mention it so that they know that I'm sharing the concern and that, I'm not just keeping it on a notebook. And a couple of other items, but those I already touched bases with Vanessa in regards to the, and this is me wearing my Lions Service Club hat. And we talked about, or I talked about with Vanessa in regards to the Livingston Lions concern to the welcoming sign on the Winton Parkway. That for quite a while, it just seems like it's really cluttered. That we would like that it would be best to make it, to really, for people to really enjoy it, to just keep it clean. So, and as a resident and as an elected official, I do believe I concur with them. And also, Vanessa, well, this just, I forgot to ask. The city website has been changed a little bit. It used to be more user-friendly. It just seems like it went from, I don't know, but was it redesigned? Was it just, maybe no one has noticed?
The city website was redesigned last year, June 2020. That's when we moved to the platform of the mural in the background.
So yeah, this has been probably within the last month or so, and maybe, yeah, it's just a little bit different, and some of the items are not there. So maybe something was a glitch.
No worries if you let me know which items you're looking at, and we can fix those links.
And I'm thinking, just give me 1 second. Oh, okay. I noticed that I've been attending planning and rec meetings for quite a few years. And last time was the first time, well, at the last planning commission meeting, I noticed that there was an attorney. Was there a specific reason why we had an attorney present during the planning commission? And was there a special request, and who's paying for it?
We thought you had attorneys cover planning commissions like all our other cities, so that'll be a one-time thing unless requested.
Okay, thank you. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Councilmember Maria Soto.
Just a few things that I've been doing, items that I've continued with throughout my service in Livingston. VFW will have their hamburger night next Thursday, the last Thursday of every month, just so that becomes a habit for those of you that want to come out and support our veterans and our veterans' families. The event is growing, so I'm really happy with that. We're raising lots of funds, and our auxiliary is growing to support the state and nationwide events that we need to support our veterans with. Also, I have flyers back in the back. They're for the Kind Neighbor Farmers Market, which is held in Merced. They do have fresh produce there, and it's a lovely gathering of local vendors that are there. So if there are vendors that are in our audience or watching, you can contact me or get a hold of the Golden Valley Health Clinic, where the event is held, to participate in their farmers market. Football is up and running. super excited about that. Our high school will have 2 away games, but the first home game, and if our community come out and support our high school players, they are out there, they're playing safely. So I hope that they continue to get in a season for as long as they can. The first home game will be actually September 3rd. September 4th will follow with a home game with our Livingston youth football. So again, coming out and supporting all our youth, as well as our soccer group and the recreation sports that we have. Last week, I attended the Women's Spotlight. I asked our interim city manager, Vanessa Portillo, to participate because I had want to introduce her to women throughout Merced County that are up and moving, and we want to give our new leadership and leadership opportunities to support them, and I thought this would be a great opportunity. Women's Spotlight highlights women in our community with small businesses. So if you would like to be a guest, they do meet every Tuesday at noon to 1 in Merced at the 510 Bistro. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. In regards to mayor announcement reports, I just want to thank Councilmember King, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, and Councilmember Maria Soto for donating supplies and backpacks for we donated 40 backpacks to local schools, and we were able to bring them during a pop-up event here at the Moreliana's restaurant a couple weeks ago. So it was a great event. A lot of kids went out and were able to get their backpacks fitted with school supplies. So thank you guys for pitching in and making that happen. Also participated in the United Farm Workers food box distribution, which they'll be coming on a regular basis to help out the community of Livingston. The next event will be September 10th. It was a great participation with the community. A lot of people came out, and we were also able to do some local door-to-door house calls to provide some of those boxes. So it was a great event overall. And then, I just want to echo what was said before in regards to Vanessa being our interim city manager. I just want to make sure that, you feel supported, and we welcome you, and we have, much respect, and know that you're going to do an excellent job. Just so you guys know, we spent, a lot of time following those a couple of weeks ago together, just going over continuation of services to the city and making sure all our projects are continuing on as planned, as well as many concerns that we've had overall, kind of going back to the basics and making sure our city looks respectable and deserving of the community, from everything from landscaping to safety concerns on sidewalks. You see some items on the consent agenda regarding those concerns. So I appreciate Vanessa just jumping right on and getting stuff done and moving along. So we appreciate that. Thanks for all the different department heads that we met on, for a few days in a row, expressing our concerns, our support, and making sure that we continue on and really touching bases with everybody and everybody jumping on and getting stuff done, like Anthony with the MID canals. Appreciate all of that. Everybody else doing what we had to do to make our community, respectable and safe and looking nice and attract ongoing businesses. I know here in the near future we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony for our AMPM project here coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned, and many other different things we're working on. So we appreciate all the staff, everybody, and Vanessa for your leadership, and we really appreciate everything. That's it for me. Let me see what else. That's it. So we're going to go on to our public hearings. We have 4 items under the public hearings. So we start with the first one, which is a resolution approving site plan design review 2021-03 for the construction of a 20-unit multifamily housing development at 2137 F Street at the northwest corner of F Street and Hammett Avenue. Randy?
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to give Monica a chance. Okay, there we do. What we're looking at, the first public hearing item, is a site plan design review approval for the construction of a 20-unit multifamily housing development at the northwest corner of F Street and Hammett. Castle Assets, in care of Diego Castillo, is seeking to develop this property into 4 separate buildings containing a total of 20 rental units. A site plan design review is required by our municipal code. It first goes to the Planning Commission for review and recommendation, which occurred on June the 8th. And they made a few additional conditions, and then they forward it to you, council, with their recommendation for approval. And if we can go to the next slide. Oh, I have it. Thank you. Let's move forward. Here it shows the site in yellow at the corner of Hammett and F Street. And this shows the zoning of the site. It is zoned general plan for high-density residential, and it's zoned R3, high-density residential. So the apartment building is completely appropriate. And it's a little hard to see the site plan, but what it shows is there are 4 building complexes, and there's a mixture of, they're all 2-story, and it's a mixture of 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, and 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom units. So this is significant for the city because it's targeting larger families with the 3-bedroom units. And the layout of the 2-bedroom units is a little over 1,000 square feet, and it's 1,005. And these, the units are arrayed in various combinations in the buildings, with some being a mixture of the 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom, and some others exclusively being the 3-bedroom units. Now, since these are all 2-story, they have they're 27.5 feet in height, and they all contain entry porches. Let me get to the elevations. And here's the floor plan, kind of showing the units. And this is how they're arrayed in the buildings. I'm trying to get to our elevations. Here we go. And the elevations are they all contain a living room, kitchen, and eating area with an indoor laundry area. And then the units, as you can perhaps see from the slide, they have a dormer-style second story. I can point that out right up in here, you know, with these on the second story. And they have various overhangs to provide shade for the first-story units and so on. In the rear of each unit, they have, which is here, showing those, they have a tempered glass rear patio door, and they all have a water heater closet with louvered doors on the reverse side. Let's see if I can get to the, it's a little hard to see, but this shows a conceptual landscape plan. And there is an existing significant tree on the site, and that will be retained. And you can see that right in here with this large tree indicated. They have 18 different types of plant material with numerous shrubs and several ground covers. I've looked at this closely with comparison to our water conserving landscape design guidelines, and all of the plant material meet the standards of the design guidelines. And they're all composed of low water use, drought tolerant material. Now, one of the things that's, they have the units that are on the north side of the project all have garages. And so they provide some of the needed parking. So when there are 14 open stalls located primarily where I'm indicating here along the south, the east, and the west. And there's 2 handicap parking located at opposite ends. There are there's carports. These have carports, and there's also 2 stalls which are electrical vehicle charging stations. So there, when you count all these, including the garages, there's a total of 35 parking spaces, which is quite a bit higher than the municipal code requirement, which is for 22 parking spaces. Now, I know it was hard to see on the elevation, but it's an exterior with a stucco in a light brown color, with trim and the gables in a white color. The roof is composed of shingles, asphalt shingles or composition shingles in a charcoal. And as I mentioned, the entry area to each unit is protected by a porch-like feature which helps to define the entry. And if one was to look closer at the elevations, you can see that there's decorative stucco finish to represent, appear as a column on each side of the porch. And so there are a variety of features within the design that enhance its appearance. Now, this is considered a project on the, for the state's California Environmental Quality Act. Now, and so the city does have to look at it for its environmental impact. Now, the good news is this qualifies as a categorical exemption because it's an infill development that meets the city's standards, and it complies with the other requirements to utilize an infill development exemption. So using this exemption saves the city and the applicant going through a more elaborate environmental process, which takes time and money. So that's a positive. And so we looked at this, and while it will increase somewhat the traffic in the area, it does not rise to the level of a significant impact to traffic. So both the staff and Planning Commission recommend that this be approved. The design, height, materials, and development intensity is consistent with the surrounding neighborhood. It meets zoning standards and the policies within the general plan. And the big positive for this is, given the city's strong need for more rental units, particularly for larger families, that this is a very positive project for the city. And we do have a variety of conditions of approval associated with this project, and the resolution has those attached in their standard types of conditions. They are paying their fair share of roadway improvements. There will be curbs, gutters, sidewalks on this, the surrounding streets that are impacted by this, and they will participate in the city's community facility district, so they will pay their fair share for the ongoing support and maintenance of police, fire, park, and road maintenance needs. And the Planning Commission did, they had handicap spaces on the west side of the project, and so the Planning Commission said, well, put one over on the east side, and so that has been done, and so there's an additional handicap parking space, and staff recommends approval, as I mentioned, and this concludes my prepared remarks, and I'm available for any questions that anybody might have.
Thank you, Randy. Council, any questions? Randy?
The entrance, is it, as I'm looking at your site plan, is it just off the F Street into the complex?
Yes, if you go by the area, there's an existing curb cut. It's right in here. And so the entrance to the community is from F Street.
And earlier you had stated that it doesn't really have an impact, the traffic study on that area, but on the other site plan, I know it's really hard to see. I don't know if Diego has any more information on that, but it does have some information regarding the extra parking, the off-street parking. How is that going to affect right in that F Street area? Because there is already parking from the other complex that's straight behind it and across from it where those residents park. So if there's supposedly adequate parking in the complex, but there's made provisions for the off, what did they call that?
On-street parking?
The off-street parking, and then so that whole thing underneath there is backflow prevention, off-street parking. How is that going to be handled with the parking situation that's already there?
Well, this is not going to add to the parking problem because they have more parking that the code requires, so it should handle the residents as well as the residents' guests. Now, it is true that people, whether visiting or residents or not even affiliated with this housing community, can park along the street there. So that's something that this project we don't think is going to add to the parking needs in the area since they cover their own. And so that's what our calculation of parking demand resulted in. I don't, the applicant is in the audience, and I don't know when it's an appropriate place. After questions of me, then he's available to come up and discuss his project and perhaps answer questions you might have that, in terms of specifics.
Council, before the applicant comes up, any other questions right now at this time? Diego, you want to come up?
Diego Castillo. So I think there was a little confusion for Maria, just to clarify. So we're not asking for any off-site parking. All our parking is on-site. It's on the actual property. And per the current building code and planning code, this project only requires 22 parking spaces, and we're providing 35. So we're providing more than the current building code requires. And all our parking is on-site, so there wouldn't be any off-site parking needed. Some of the other complexes, like you mentioned, have people parking on the streets or not on the complex because they don't provide the parking like we do. They might have one space per unit or less than one space per unit because they were probably built prior to the current building code.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant?
I got a question. What's the timeline on it? When will you be starting this?
It would have been done a year ago if we would have got approved. But yeah, to answer your question, if we get approved, I think after, if I'm correct, it has to go back to the building department after this, right, Randy?
Yeah, to answer the question, your plans go to the building department for plan check.
Yeah.
And then a permit is issued, and then construction can begin.
Yeah, so our goal would be to start before the year's over. I mean, we want to have it completed within the next 12 months.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Diego.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing for any citizen comments regarding this item. Do we have any citizen comments regarding item number 2 from the public hearings? I don't see any, so we'll bring it back to council for additional questions and direction motions.
I don't have a question, but rather a comment. I think it is very important, and I think we already know that a lot of, actually it's not even only our community, but it's just throughout the whole country that housing it's a big issue. And especially being so close to the Bay Area and having a lot of people, kind of coming this way, because it's becoming harder and harder for them to be able to afford homes closer to the Bay Area, and therefore affecting the families here in the valley, But I think projects like this will be a benefit not only to in any community really right now, because housing it's not there. So I do appreciate the different people and different developers that are looking at Livingston as their potential to, invest their money and provide housing for our local residents. And I know that current cost of building has gone up so much with the different building materials, and I can only imagine that sometimes it's difficult for investors and developers to even consider continue building, but it's business, and up to some, I guess they will continue to, hopefully, to continue investing in our community. So I really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing more residents not having to live in multiple families and single homes, and here's one of those opportunities. So that's it. Thank you.
Council? Any motions?
If there's no more comments, I would motion to approve this item as stated.
You gonna read it out or no? You gonna read it or no?
You want me to read it?
No, you don't have to, but I thought you were gonna read it. You were gonna. I guess we have a motion by Councilmember Jose Moran. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilwoman Maria Soto. Monica, could we get a roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
So I would like to thank the applicant, Diego. Thank you for making yourself available, and we look forward to this project. As stated from Councilmember Jose Moran, there's a great need for housing in the Central Valley, and appreciate you investing in our city to make that more housing available to our community. So we look forward to seeing that project accomplished here pretty soon. And if you could put a "Welcome to Livingston" sign in that corner, that'd be great. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 3, the public hearing, which is a resolution approving site plan and design review 2021-01 for the construction of a new commercial building divided into 4 tenant spaces at the Brothers Gas Station, food mart, and restaurant site at the southeast corner of Walnut Avenue and Hammett Avenue. Randy? I think the applicant, just for information, the applicant is on the line on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Sunny. Sunny, are you on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, stand by. Thanks.
Okay, I was wondering where our applicant was, so, okay, that's great.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can everybody put your phone on silent, please? Anybody on the phone line, put your phone on silent, please.
Okay, this is, again, as you mentioned, Mayor, a site plan and design review. This is proposed a new commercial building with 4 tenant spaces. This is located at 690 Hammett Avenue. The specific location is on the corner of Hammett and Walnut. It's on the site that is presently occupied by gas station, a convenience market, and a takeout restaurant. There is sufficient space on the site for this development. It is zoned commercial, it's general planned commercial, so it's an appropriate location. Here is the site plan, and the proposed new building is located on the east portion of the site, right in here where I'm pointing with my laser. And there are 4 tenant spaces that are available. The 2 middle spaces are slightly smaller. They're 1,006 square feet in size, and the 2 end spaces are larger, being 1,114 square feet in size. Each tenant space, has a bathroom associated with it, and going to the elevation, you can see that the larger tenant spaces on the north and south end are a little taller to give some definition. They're all single story, and the elevation is such that there is a brick base trim located, and then there is stucco. Primarily this exterior stucco, but there is an awning feature over each entrance that adds some shade as well as just definition to the design. At each of the corner of the larger units, there is the base trim extends up to the overhang level, if you will, the awning level, and then there is contrasting color continuing with that column feature. The colors, I think we may have an example of the colors. Yes, the color here is a kind of a taupe color, and that's for the stucco. And that's it for the color chips, but the Yeah. It's stone gray is the colors of the columns and the features that add some definition to the elevations. Now I'll go, again, it's hard to see the site plan, but this proposal, it will be adding a total of, let's see, 7 additional parking spaces arrayed. There is a parking aisle here that, or access aisle, and it's 25 feet in width. So even though these, it's anticipated that the traffic will come from, the surrounding streets and go southerly along the 25-foot aisle, and then they'll park in a diagonal way. Given that it's 25 feet, it can actually, it actually allows for two-way traffic. And so there's that option. The other parking that is on the site is more than the existing uses need, so it does kind of add some additional parking. The big issue that the Planning Commission looked at is there sufficient parking area for the uses that would go in these spaces? It's undefined right now, and parking is based upon the use. If a restaurant or food service would go in, they would take up more parking than there currently is available in this design. And so with that, a business license for a restaurant use would not be approved until such time as additional parking would be provided. There is space adjacent to the south of this that if it's really needed, and that's the desire of the applicant and property owner, that could be done, but it's anticipated not to be needed. It's anticipated that the type of users that will be here will be a variety of business service type uses, which has a much lower parking standard. And so the Planning Commission spent some time looking at this and felt that given the type of businesses that this is marketed to, it should work out just fine with enough parking. There is some landscaping that's part of this proposal, and you can see it in the dark color here, and there's also some landscaping adjacent to the building itself in the dark color. And that also provides as a drainage basin as well. And again, as I mentioned in the previous project, the landscaping that's shown on the typical landscape plan is drought tolerant and water conserving. And as part of the final approval of this project, I'll do a on-site inspection for the landscaping and assure that the landscaping is installed correctly and is of the material type that's on the city's landscaping guidelines. And so that should work. This project qualifies for the infill categorical exemption, same as the previous project. And so there's no further environmental review that's needed. It's anticipated that the parking demand will be accommodated, and that factors into the traffic generated. And given the commercial area and the whole commercial corner that this is located in, that the traffic is not anticipated to cause any problems. A condition of approval is to annex into the city's community facility district, so they will be paying their fair share, proportionate basis for ongoing improvements to the traffic conditions and also ongoing payments for police and fire protection. And the Planning Commission looked at this and recommended approval, and staff is joining the Planning Commission in recommending your approval for this project. And the applicant is available by phone for additional questions, and so I'll stop at this point and respond to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Randy. Council, any questions regarding this item? Any questions for the applicant?
Randy, I still have the reservations about the parking in front of the four buildings that we're anticipating to come in. There's going to be two-way traffic going through there, and it says, 25 feet. And I'm picturing it in my excursion, not being able to get back there. Because when you enter off of the Hammett and you go through the restaurant, because again, if I remember correctly, in planning, it was said that the traffic back there is going to be two-way. But you can only park at that diagonal coming in from the north side. So again, that is, to me, it's just going to be just clustered, because it is just, I can't envision it. I mean, I see your site plan, but going out to the Brothers Mart, wait, what is that called? Is that right? Going out there and looking at behind the convenience store, it just looks as if the area is not as big as people driving through there, and the confusion of trying to enter from the north side and parking. Because you can't park the other way if you're coming alongside the restaurant.
Well, to try to address your questions, council member, some of this doesn't exist on the ground now. So some of the width and improvements are added as part of this project. So it is somewhat deceiving, but there is more room there than it looks presently. It simply measures out so that the distances and the widths that we're talking about actually measure out, and they are there. And there's no doubt that if somebody is picking up some takeout from the takeout restaurant and wants to utilize one of these services that eventually will be in there, and so they think, oh, okay, no problem, I'll just drive and park. That's going to be a problem, because they come this way and it's the parking is faced in the from the north. Excuse me?
They can only utilize stall 13 and 12.
Yeah, what they basically have to do is continue through the aisle and then re-enter this from the north to go south, so they can easily park in it. They can back into it as well if the driver wants to do that, and that may be that's a way to do it, but it's not a 90-degree parking. There wasn't enough room to put 90-degree parking, and so there is a little bit of a challenge there, but it's one of those things that they comply with the standards, and I think after utilizing it for initially, individuals will not have to double back as maybe a first-time user would have to. When you get used to what's there, if you come to these businesses periodically, then you'll know you have to enter it from the north to utilize the most convenient parking.
And then again, we're basing this parking because we still don't know what types of businesses are going to come in there, we're going to allow less parking spaces? Is that what I understood?
To respond, the parking for the type of businesses that the applicant indicated they were marketing this to, it's actually more parking that those businesses would require. If a business goes in there, like a food service business, they take a lot of parking. And so the short answer is no, there's not enough parking for a food service business. General retail, there's enough parking. There's enough parking for service retail uses. And so it really depends on what the end user of that space is going to be. And that's why I mentioned in my comments that the fallback will be on the business license level. If a business license comes in and it's a high parking demand, a business such as a restaurant, then we would have problems.
Any other questions, Council?
I think I have probably the same concern in a way where I understand about enough distance to have a both way kind of thing back there. But what I'm seeing is the probability of coming in from the north, going to try and get into the parking spaces. That's not the problem. But what I foresee is people backing up or backing out from those parking spaces, having to back out onto oncoming traffic, which might not be visible because there might be other cars or trucks right next to them. So we have to rely, or the driver has to rely completely on the other people driving in and, driving in from Hammett, and hopefully they can see people backing out because the drivers would not be able to see it if there's trucks or cars next to it. So, I don't know if it's a possibility because, I just don't want to mention the problem, but I want to also mention a solution. Instead of having the parking spaces, facing that way, why not face them the other way? That way, when they are backing out, they can back out into their, lane of traffic.
It'll be the same issue because there's an entrance on the Walnut Avenue.
Because there's what?
There's an entrance on the Walnut Avenue, so it'll be the same issue either way.
Yeah.
There's an issue, there's an entrance where?
On the Walnut Avenue, so there'll be the same issue. No matter where you do one way or the other, just do an entrance on that side.
Yeah, there's two curb cuts on the Walnut side.
Well, yeah, they will still have the two-way traffic, but just the parking spaces the opposite way, where people going in, they can park, and then when they back out into their own lane, instead of having to back out all the way out and probably through oncoming traffic.
Well, valid points, but the anticipate, and that's why we're saying it's critical what the tenants are going to be in these spaces. A high volume turnover business such as a food service is not appropriate at this location because then there's more traffic and the backing up and the parking are going to be problematic. But given the type of, and Mr. Bassi on the phone may want to talk about this, but as was mentioned at the Planning Commission public hearing, the type of businesses they're looking at minimize this. There's not going to be a lot of traffic here. And so backing up into the two-way traffic shouldn't be a problem. I mean, there may be an occasional opportunity a time when someone's backing up and there's a car coming, then they'll have to wait for that to pass. But this is not a high-volume business, nor a high-volume roadway. And so we just don't anticipate a lot of conflict.
So the way that it is designed right now, based on the necessary number or required of parking spaces, are we at minimum? Are we right at what is required based on?
Well, that answer depends on what goes into these spaces.
So assuming that there's no food and none of that.
Yeah, assuming if there's no high volume users that are going in there, we're a little bit greater than the minimum of spaces. We might have 2 spaces that are more than the minimum required.
On the north side of where the parking's right there where the dark area is.
Yes.
I do believe that's where the propane tank is, right?
It's going to be relocated. The propane is actually right over here.
Okay, so then that area is just going to be.
It's landscaping, and it's a drainage basin.
Would they be able to use or consider more of that landscaping area to consider moving the parking spaces that way? That way they don't lose any parking spaces, but rather facilitate and reduce the probability of having an altercation, the possibility of anyone having that difficult problem of being involved in a fender bender.
I'm going to let
you want to have Sonny,
the applicant respond to that.
Sonny, you want to jump in and kind of
let me chime in on this. I appreciate you guys with all the feedback. We do, to add to all this, I don't think the changing the direction is a difficult thing. Just overview of the project, I see what Maria and everybody's concerns are, where the majority of the traffic comes on from Hammett, which for us would not be the issue, changing the direction of the parking. What I do want to add is we do have 2 additional parking where you see 12 and 13. There are a 14, 15 there.
Sonny.
Yeah.
And just in regards to just in general, what are your future plans in regards to what kind of tenants are going to have on your property?
Yeah, I think we mentioned this at the last meeting, but our goals here are to bring in things that we need in the community. We just discussed, apartment complexes coming in, but I don't see a laundromat. We wanted to bring a postal connections or some sort of mail service other than our USPS. So those are the types of things we're looking at to grow our city.
Awesome, thank you. You guys have any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I have, I don't know, it's just an idea. Maybe they could just use a one-way traffic, put a sign up one way in, one way out. I mean.
Definitely.
No, yeah, but I mean, maybe they can switch that out. And instead of two-way traffic, just have a one-way traffic. I don't know, enter from Walnut, exit on Hammett, or Hammett to Walnut. Just an idea.
Sonny, what do you think?
I think traffic will pass through there. It's kind of like what I see on Main Street. I see people turn over the yellow all the time. I see that happening, but I don't see that happening that much because we're not going to have that much traffic.
Any other questions for the applicant? Do you want to repeat your comment, your statement real quick, Sonny, please?
Oh, what I said was the suggestion of it just being one way. I get that, but at the same time, how many people are going to obey that?
No, that's a valid point. But you guys are okay with switching the parking slots the other way, right? The other.
No, I brought that to forward on before this meeting. Anyways, I like that we face it in the other direction, just because I see more cars utilizing the drive around from the restaurant side. So I think that'll be a better flow for us.
Sounds good. Any other questions? So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing for any citizen comments. We have Diego coming up.
Diego Castillo, I just wanted to say I think it's great that they're bringing some of the services needed in the community. And just as a developer, I'm going to give you guys some feedback for future projects. Most of the time, or not most of the time, but it's required when you're going to bring a project like whether any type of development, the applicant hires their consultants and then their work gets reviewed by the consultants from the city. So most of the time when it gets to you, our paid professionals that, let's say in this case, they do the landscaping, they do the parking, they do the traffic control, they've already looked at it to meet the standards of the city. So usually if it's already if it's already made it your way, it's because it already meets the standards that you guys as a city currently have in the ordinance. So that is it.
Appreciate it, Diego.
Thank you, sir. Any other citizen comments? All right, we're closing the public hearing and we'll bring it back to council. Any further questions or motions?
Make the motion.
Do you want
Do you want me to read it? Resolution approving site plan and design review 2021-01 for the construction of a new commercial building divided into 4 tenant spaces at the Brothers Gas Station, Food Mart, and Restaurant site at the southeast corner of Walnut Avenue and Hammett Avenue, APN number 023-070-011.
And with your motion, do you want to include the change of the direction of the parking, or do we have to do that, Randy?
You have a choice. You can leave it as is. You can add a condition to change the direction, or you could leave it up to the developer, leave it up to the Bassies to see how they want to do that. Because it currently meets city standards the way it is, as Diego mentioned. But you do have the ability to put a condition on to change the direction. So rather than accessing it from the north, you could access it from the south. There's already a condition on this that has informational signage for parking and so forth, and say, you know, it's not a one-way enters, but enter this way, or additional parking here, or what have you. That's something that's already a condition on this project. It happened when the takeout restaurant was approved. And so, because there was concern there that people wouldn't be aware of the parking that was kind of back in parking and turning areas that were back in this part of the development. And now that's even less visible with this project than it is currently. So you have options.
I will second that with the condition that the parking spaces direction will be changed, if that's what.
Well, let's go back to his original motion. So he's still not finished with his motion.
So it looks like, according to Sunny, that they want to have an issue moving the parking. So with that conditional to move the parking, the opposite way of where it stands at right now.
Yeah, it appeared that Mr. Bassi didn't have a condition, issue with it, so
So, yeah.
that's available.
Yeah, so there's a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia with the additional condition to move the parking slots to the other diagonal. What you mentioned.
I will second that.
We have a second by Councilmember Jose Moran. We get roll call.
Roll call, Councilmember Soto,
Yes.
Councilmember Moran,
Yes.
Councilmember Kane,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
All right, we now move on to public hearing number 4, which is the ordinance of City Council of the City of Livingston adopting the new rate schedule for water service, which was continued from July 6th. Go ahead. Oh,
Mayor,
sorry.
good
Vanessa,
evening.
go ahead.
Vanessa Portillo, interim city manager. This is the ordinance and the resolution to the city council in regards to our rate study and in particular for the new rate proposed for the water services. It was brought up to council for review June 15th and continued to July 6th, and this is a continuation of that item.
Thank you, Vanessa.
And Mayor, I have not had a chance to review this yet with some other things going on. And we're not going to spend 100 hours here also per your request. So we're prioritizing things. So I'd request that you continue this another month or two. And the same would apply to the next item.
Do we have to? All right, so council, any specific questions at this time regarding this item? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for citizen comments at this time regarding this item, number 4. Any citizen comments?
Good evening, Hilda Lopez. I was really hoping that this would, we would take action on this tonight. As Vanessa has mentioned, this has been a continued item for quite some time now, and there is quite a fiscal impact to delaying this a month or two. And with all due respect, the city attorney's lack of preparedness tonight is not a good reason that we are gonna, as a city, be financially impacted because of whatever he had going on. So I understand that we all need to be on the same page, but we have been dealing with this for quite some time. As a citizen, I feel like the information has been out there to me for quite some time, and I hope that we are going to take action on this a lot sooner than a month or two down the road. Thank you.
Any other citizen comments?
Mayor, council members, Leticia Vasquez. I know that we've been waiting for this to pass since July 6th. And I think that when that happened, when Councilmember Soto needed more time to figure stuff out and understand the fees and all that stuff, I know that Vanessa had shared that there's an impact when it comes to income or how much money we're spending to delay this process. So if our attorney wasn't ready for this and we delay it for a month or two, I would like to ask how much or how is that going to affect us financially, delaying this decision again? Vanessa?
So when the item was continued back in July, our consultant did not recommend to go on with a full study or review of the study. So we are not incurring any other additional charges for this item to be put on hold from the consultant for water, for the rate study. On the same token, what we are doing is postponing the collection of new rates in the differential of, like whatever we are charging today with the new rates that we're proposing, so the $3 or the $4 per account. However, we have brought up over to council that due to the fact that this item has is using data that will need to be updated sooner. Instead of a five-year rate study, we would potentially have to look into a new rate study within the next 3 years.
Okay, and is that going to cost anything to us?
No, it would cost us what the consultant at that time would put a proposal for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Any other comments? Okay, we're going back to council. Any comments or motions to continue?
I don't even know if it's a comment or a question anymore. So first the question, Vanessa, what is the average cost of a consultant to do the rate study right now?
Our contract for this rate study, it averages between $40,000 to $45,000.
So, I'm speechless. This item has, like us residents already have mentioned, this item has been continued since June or July. And this is the problem, not being prepared. I am prepared. I've been prepared. I read everything. We all have responsibilities. We knew it was on the agenda. Why didn't we know before this? And now, who has to pay the bucket? Not us, the taxpayers. Being unprofessional, unprepared, now it's going to cost the city again. I'm just disappointed.
Council, any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I got a quick question for Vanessa. So either way, we're still gonna have to update this and pay something, correct? For the three.
We've already paid for the study that it's presented to you. And the study, it's looking at, or it's giving us a roadmap for the next 5 years. In the event that this figures or numbers change drastically, the consultant has shared that it would be recommended to do this sooner rather than the 5 years, so within 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments at this time, guys? So just to clarify, by continuing it, we're not paying the consultant another $45,000, correct?
That is correct. At this moment, the consultant has recommended not to do any other updates than the ones that have been presented.
So we're not paying $45,000?
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're not paying.
Not now, but in 3 years we will, instead of 5 years. That's what I'm looking at.
I think that was it was a 5-year outlook, correct?
This is a 5-year outlook, correct?
And I think that what they wanted to look is a 10-year outlook?
No. What they would recommend, if time passes by on this item, that instead of a 5 year, so instead of doing the review in 2025, we would start this review in 2023.
Any other comments or motions? And
if there are no comments, I motion to approve this item as stated.
We have a motion on the table. We have a second.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Councilmember Maria Soto.
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
No.
Mayor Aguilar?
No.
Motion fails by a vote of 2-3.
Tom, I have a question. In regards to continuing it, to be better prepared, you mentioned like a month or so. So what would that meeting be?
August 17th
September?
or September, yeah, excuse me, September 21st.
21st? So 1 month will be September 21st. Any motions to continue?
Well, I'll make the motion to continue it to the 21st of September.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Councilwoman Maria Soto. Do we get roll call?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Abstain.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4 and 1 abstained.
Just for the record, in regards to that item, I know there was some concerns about the attorney not being prepared, but I know that there has been other priorities in regards to the city. Obviously, we want to be fiscally responsible in regards to what tasks we give him and what he tackles first. So I know there was some priorities, high-level priorities that he needed to be, or that needed to be looked at, just for the record.
And I'm sorry, can you also let the public know when the last water rate was approved?
Do you have that information?
Water rates have not, well, the last water rate was approved in 2014, and the last time a new water rate was implemented based on the rate study, it was in January of 2018. So rates have not increased since 2018.
Thank you, Vanessa. All right, we're going to go to the next item, which is resolution ordinance of the City Council of the City of Livingston adopting new rate schedule for domestic wastewater service, sewer service, continue from July 6th.
Again, this is a resolution and ordinance of the city in regards to the approval of the new rate study for wastewater service. And this is a continuation of the item that it was first presented on June 15th and continued to July 6th, and now continue to today's date.
Thank you, Vanessa. Any questions?
Same.
So it'll be the same process. So we open it up for citizen comments. No citizen comments. Bring it back to council. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to reiterate, it doesn't really, it's kind of irrelevant when the last time that rates increased for the city. Clearly, the data and information that has been presented to us for months is indicating that it is imperative that the new rate study be taken into effect. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to increase rates. I realize that there are citizens within the community that are still struggling because of COVID or whatever the situation may be. But as Vanessa had mentioned earlier, there is the Get Help or whatever services available. There are also county level services that are available for those that are struggling with their water rates. So I would encourage them to reach out to those resources. It's kind of concerning that we just continue kicking the can down the road, and we are, whether those incurred costs happen now or in 3 years, we are incurring more costs because we failed to take action on this. I understand that there are other high-level priorities for the city attorney, but this is costing us money. And by voting no, by kicking it down the road, it's only costing us more money, and it's clear that, this needs to get done. And as I mentioned before, it needs to get done sooner than later. It's really unfortunate that there is no sense of urgency on this matter, which is hugely impacting our community and our taxpayers. Thank you.
Any other citizen comments? All right, bring it back to council for motions, direction.
Can I make a comment real quick before anybody else
Yes.
makes a motion?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so I did mention this to Vanessa, but I also just want to put it on the record, and just something that needs to be corrected on the staff report on page 2, where on the top where it says the Proposition 218 hearing was held June 15. It's written as June 15, 2020, so just that needs to be corrected to 2021. And then just a comment, if I do remember correctly, when we did the law firm interviews, they did mention, if I'm correct, that this firm had not only one attorney available when needed. So unless that is different, I'm assuming that there are other attorneys in the firm that could have looked at this while you were, attending to other more important concerns. So that way maybe we could do this and, in the future, so just to prevent this from happening again. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Any motions?
I'll make the motion to continue it to the 21st also.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember King. Can we get roll call, Monica, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Soto,
Yes.
Councilmember Moran,
Abstain.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4 and 1 abstain.
We're going to go ahead and move on to our consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine or non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by city manager or city council member. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the council or city manager request that specific items be removed. As stated earlier, I think item number 9, 12, 14, and 20. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so those are removed. So we're going to go ahead and address the consent agenda. Council, motions?
I move to approve the consent agenda with those 4 items pulled.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jose Moran. Do we have a second?
What numbers were pulled? I'm sorry.
9, 12, 14, and 20.
9, 12, 14. Okay.
We have a motion. Any second?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilmember Kane. Can we get roll call, please?
Can I comment on something on the agenda?
Can we comment? Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to comment on item 13 on the consent agenda for the contracting out of landscaping services. These are job duties that are performed by represented employees through Public Works, and the city has yet to discuss this with the union. The only discussion I had with the former city manager was to tell him that we needed to have a discussion about this, and I wanted more information about it. Before the city contracts out work that is performed by represented employees, the union should be informed of what's going on. So I am requesting that you pull this item, number 13, from this agenda until we are further informed of what's going on.
As stated on the staff report, the city budgets for partial staff, partial seasonal, and their unrepresented staff members. And the city's using unrepresented seasonal salaries to pay for landscaping services.
Central Valley Tree Landscaping is their part-time employees?
That's not the part-time employees, that's the contracting service agency that we have taken a proposal and we're recommending to move forward and contract with.
Okay, so the city is not going to discuss with the union on what kind of cost savings you're having by not allowing employees to do this work?
These are unrepresented employees, therefore no union.
Is this a contract you have every year?
This is the first time we're using this, so we're proposing and we're bringing it to council for their approval.
Okay, I'm thinking there's an issue here.
I'd recommend you pull this for tonight.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will amend my motion to pull item, in addition to, so let me go back. I move to approve the consent agenda with pulling item 9, 12, 13, 14, and 20.
We have a motion by Councilmember Zamoran. Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember King. Could we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you, Monica. We'll go out to item number 9, which is approval of minutes of meeting held on August 9th, 2021.
So the reason that I asked to pull this item was I think that we need to pull it and not discuss it because it was an item based on closed session, and then we can talk about it later during the week, and then it can be approved. I just don't agree with the minutes.
Okay, so you want to continue it to the
Continue
next?
it.
Okay, so your motion to continue for next
So my motion is to continue item number 9 to the next council meeting.
under consent agenda. We have
Yes.
we have a motion by Councilmember Jose Moran. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Maria Soto. Could we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. We'll go to item number 12, second reading and adoption ordinance of City Council of City of Livingston establishing new rates of solid wastewater service, garbage service fee continued from July 6. I think it's the same thing, correct?
That is correct. This is the second reading for the ordinance that it was approved on June 15th meeting. And the second reading normally goes under consent agenda, but it was continued from the consent agenda calendar from July 6th to today.
Any questions at this time, council? You have a question? Oh, okay. We're taking out for citizen comments at this time. Bring it back to council. Any motions?
Actually, I got some. So we can move this also to the September 21st. Right. So I'll make a motion to move it to the 21st of September.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia to move the item to September 21st. Do we have a second?
Just real quick, I just want to make a correction, just to make sure that is noted, the correction on page number 2, second paragraph. Once again, it was just to make the correction where it says Proposition 218 hearing was held June 15, 2021, so that is corrected for the next time, and just with that.
Okay, that correction. So we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember King. Could we get a roll call?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you, Monica. Item number 14, resolution approving.
Wait, 13? What are we doing on 13?
Oh, sorry, 13. Resolution approving award agreement. We're gonna.
Yeah, I recommend you drop that until we confer with the union.
So just continue it. All right. So item number 13, resolution approving award of agreement for landscaping service to Central Valley Tree and Landscaping.
You could just drop it for now. We'll bring it back after
Okay.
Vanessa has that discussion.
So we're dropping it. So we're gonna go ahead and item number 14 was resolution approving award of agreement for information technology IT managed services to MID Valley IT Services. Vanessa? This is your item.
This item was pulled by Councilmember Moran, so if Councilmember Moran has any questions that we can address?
Yes, so item 14, basically, it is my understanding, based on me reading the agenda and the staff report, that the recommendation is to continue with the same company that we currently have, which is Mid-Valley IT Services. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So, but then looking at the first page of the staff report, and it's just for my understanding so that residents can understand. So we have, based on the proposals from 3 different companies, we have Mid-Valley IT Services for $320,400, and Apex Technology Management for $378,000, and Valeo for $273,960. But the recommendation is to continue with Mid-Valley IT Services. What would be the reasoning to continue? Well, not to continue with that company, which, I guess if you're making the recommendation, they're doing a good job, but why, considering when we have a higher, when it's their proposal is higher for 3 years?
The proposal is the second lowest of the 3. The reason why we are not recommending the lowest bidder or the lowest proposal on the table, which is Valeo, it's because the company is located in Ventura County, and we do need on-site support for our city facilities, and it would be very unreasonable of a time frame for Valeo to attend to any on-site repairs or needs that the city may have. Therefore, the 2 consultants that have received the highest ranking was Apex and Mid-Valley IT.
Did Valeo understand where we were and what our needs were, even though they were?
Yes, they did. And I mean, in the world of IT, for many IT companies, they feel that nowadays most of the IT needs for facilities could be resolved remotely. I do mention in the staff report that we had an East Coast company apply, and we also did not consider them because we feel that as of today, the needs that the city has, it requires us to have somebody on site to provide that kind of IT service. So they were aware of our needs. However, they're also hopeful, and we are showing the results.
I mean, yeah, my question was just so that I could better understand, also that the residents can understand what the thinking behind it, not just we just want to spend more money just because.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we haven't had any complaints with any problems working with this company that you know of?
We have a list of homework that we are going to work in order to provide our city facilities the best service that they deserve.
Okay, thank you.
And then just to add, I know having discussions with Vanessa, I know there were a lot of untapped services and resources that weren't being used in the past, and that we are now aware of, and very excited and looking forward to working with our current company.
Absolutely.
And they've been super open and willing to jump in and be part of the team. So Vanessa, I don't know where you want to expand a little bit on that.
Absolutely, that is part of the homework. There is a lot of items and services that the city has not fully utilized in the past, and we are opening up those conversations with our contractor at the moment in order for us to enhance many of the services that we have today.
Excellent. Are you here from? You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I have Joy Alexander here, the representative from Mid-Valley IT.
My name's Joy Alexander. I've been with Mid-Valley IT for close to 5 years. This account would be new for me. I have a different approach than most account managers. I'm very hands-on. My hope is that we can meet your needs. We've tried to work really closely with PD to do that, and now we want to do that with those in the city, City Hall, Public Works. I think that having these meetings that we're trying to do monthly will give us a list of items to check off. One of our major things, though, is to make sure you're secure and that everything that you have is backed up and completely ready to go. I was able to speak with Vanessa and let her know those things are already happening, and she was not aware of. And so it's just a matter of, I think, of communication. So that's what I'm here to do. And if you have any questions for me, I've provided Vanessa with a direct line to me and Monica, and you guys are also welcome to do that as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take it out to citizen comments for this item. Any citizen comments? I don't see any. We can bring it back to council for motions. This is item number 14.
You entered access code 156811.
Thank you. Okay, any motions regarding item number 14?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Mayor Protem Garcia. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Maria Soto. Could we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Protem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item number 20. Consider approval of an agreement with Vanessa Portillo to serve as interim city manager. I know Councilmember Jose Moran, you pulled this item?
Yes. Let's see. Well, first of all, congratulations, Vanessa. And so this is a draft. Obviously, it's a draft of a legal document, right? That we're considering to approve.
Yes.
Okay.
And it does have a few typos since I did it myself, trying to get it out on Friday afternoon.
So that was actually my concern with, I think, some very crucial keywords. Other than typos, I counted 19 of them. And it was late, so it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. But just on page 3, section 3.2, by Portillo, this agreement may be terminated by Portillo for any reason. It says 60 or 30 days, so I'm just want to clarify, is it 60 or 30 days before we look at it or for approval?
I'm sorry, which page was that?
Page 3, section 3.2.
Section 3.
That's correct.
Just for clarification, Vanessa asked for 30 days.
Okay, so it is 30, not 60. So
that's correct.
So 30. Okay. And then, well, I'm not sure if you guys want me to just go through the typos, but I think it's very important, you know.
I think that were you guys, I know, Vanessa, you went over to identify some of those typos, correct?
That is correct.
So before you sign it, it'll be corrected.
So, and then section 6.12. It's stated, 612, governing law, this agreement shall be governed by and construed in accordance with the laws of the state of California with venue proper only in Riverside County, state of California. Was that supposed to be Merced County, or is it?
Yes, we are in Merced County.
Yes.
So now I'm just okay. And just for clarification, and just for me, I mean, I don't know, I'm sure it probably made sense to everyone else that read it. Section 6.16, status of recruitment. City warrants that as of the commencement date, it has initiated the process for the recruitment of a permanent replacement to the city manager position. when, what is the, well, just for me, what is the interpretation or what is the purpose of that clause?
The purpose is to inform the interim that, as you advised, we are going to have a search for a permanent city manager in the future.
Which could include herself.
Which could be her, yeah.
Okay. Other than the typos, I can probably provide a copy to Vanessa a little bit later, just the ones that I was able to find and do whatever you guys need to do. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think this for Vanessa. I pointed out some others, so I'm not sure if we have to put that on record or right now, or for the typos on that section, the one I highlighted, for the he and she type.
I'm sorry. We will do cosmetic.
You just say approve it with the edits previously provided regarding typographical errors and the replacement of Riverside with Merced.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll take it out to citizen comments. Any citizen comments regarding this item? All right, we'll bring it back to council for motions.
I'll make the motion.
Motion with the aforementioned changes.
Yes.
A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Second by Councilmember King. Do we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Congratulations, Vanessa.
Thank you.
You had a speech prepared? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't have a speech, but I am very honored to serve as your interim city manager. As I shared with many of my staff, my department heads, and my consultants, we have a lot of homework to do. I do believe that the city has a lot of potential for us projects. It's very exciting, and I am really happy to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. So we're going to go ahead and move on to discussion and potential action items. 21, discussion of direction on official name of the public area where the Old Court Theater was located at 620 Main Street, Livingston.
So staff is recommending that we name the area across the street, the public area, the Courtyard Plaza. It will assist the residents to identify this area for downtown use. And after a survey was done, the majority of the residents voted for that name. So just for a little bit of background, the Recreation Department was asked by Councilmember Maria Soto to give this area an official name. And that was in the early part of January 2021. The survey was completed on February 25th. And since this was originally the Court Theater, the site, there was a desire to have the site named after the Court family that had been longtime business owners and also helped to establish Livingston. And because it's next to the museum, we certainly wanted it to have a historical factor. So the department put together a survey. There were 6 different options that were given to the community, and then a place for them to write in the name that was not one of the 6 options. So it was available on the city's website. We put it out on Facebook. Lots of people shared it, and the result came to the conclusion that the Courtyard Plaza would be the name. It would have no fiscal impact on the city budget to name
Thank you, Jackie. Council, any questions, comments?
The only suggestion that I'd like to make is that we separate the two, rather than it be courtyard, to actually present the surname courtyard plaza. So 3 words rather than 2, so that we give honor to the surname Court, and it's highlighted.
Thank you.
Council, we cannot hear on the phone, please.
Any other questions for Jackie regarding this item?
In regards to erecting a monument, in the past, how much has that cost?
Well, the one like you see for Odie was about 5,500.
Yeah, it was about 6,500.
But it's a small area. I don't know if we want to go that big. Maybe we could put something underneath the existing sign, or have something made to retrofit on the bright sign, because there's a big area below. Wouldn't take up any more space in the park.
Yeah, and some small dedication. But yeah, something smaller, I would say. Okay, any other questions? Take it out for citizen comments. All right, we'll bring it back to council. So you need a motion approving the naming? Or any direction? Vanessa?
I believe the item here is for council to issue a motion to approve the name.
You have a motion to approve then the name of the grassy area?
I'll make the motion to approve the name of Courtyard Plaza for the area across council chambers.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Maria Soto. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Mayor Tim Garcia. Can we get a roll call?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia?
Yes.
Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you.
I just want to say, just thank you to the rec department and the commissioners for taking on this. And, I mean, it does take a little bit of energy and input, and obviously I appreciate all of the work that they do. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rec Commission. Thank you, Jackie, for taking on this assignment. Appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and move on to council direction on future agenda items. Anybody has any future agenda items at this time? All right, so at this time, we're going to go ahead and adjourn our meeting at 9:29 p.m. and go into closed session. In regards to closed session, we have 2 items. The first one is conference with labor negotiator. Labor negotiator Vanessa Portillo, interim city manager, employee organizations, so Police Supervisory Employee Association, Livingston Police Officer Association, Management Confidential Bargaining Unit, Clerical Bargaining Unit, and Public Works and Park Unit. And item number 2 is conference with legal counsel, potential litigation, significant exposure to litigation. Number of cases are 2. So we're going to go ahead and go into our closed session at this time.
Are there any public comments for this?
Yes, sorry, thank you. Any public comments regarding these 2 items? All right, so no public comments. We'll bring it back to council and go into our closed session. Are we going to be utilizing the projector? Okay, sorry guys, we're going to be using the projector. We'll report out as soon as our closed session is done.